Is a interview thing that we're gonna do. So very similar to what we did with Nick, we're doing it with me, and Nick's gonna ask some questions, and these are things that we kind of put together to give people a little bit of an insight. So I'll let Nick take over the interview, and he can start rocking and rolling.
I have some pretty simple questions.
I bet you do.
They're going to be good. What lit the fuse for you? When did bikes stop being a hobby and start being your whole life?
So I had a really good job, and I was asked to pick up trash, and I was in the middle of closing a really big sales deal, and I said no. I'm kind of going to close this sale first, and I got fired from a job that was really good, and I got pissed off and said I'm never going to let corporate America control my life ever again. I bought a motorcycle, sold my car, and then rode out to Kansas. That's kind of what started the motorcycle thing, and it was just a downhill spiral ever since. Nothing but motorcycles.
Did you always see yourself here, or did you just keep chasing fire trying to outrun something?
I think safety is a big thing, and I think comfortability is a real problem with a lot of people. I don't like to be comfortable. I like to be uncomfortable. I create chaos. I create madness because that's where I thrive. I thrive in that type of mentality. So I never knew where I was going to end up. I never knew where I was going to, end up being in the professional ladder of society, but I always knew that I was going to do something that was going to be important, and is going to be not a 9 to 5. I'm not that type of person. So I think that kind of sums up where it goes. Does that make sense?
It does,
Okay.
it does. People can feel the difference in your store. What's in the walls that makes it yours?
Blood, sweat, and tears. Everybody at my team, everybody here between all three dealerships, they all bleed for the dealership. So we lay the floor when we did the Triumph room. We built the wall for the Indian room. We didn't hire any of this stuff out. This was all stuff that was done by blood, sweat, and tears, and you can see the labor of love and labor of passion. You hear that mentality. If the boss says you're part of the family, run. Well, that's not my mentality. We treat people the way they want to be treated, and we take care of our staff. Because our staff is what makes the dealership the dealership. And I think that's the biggest thing, is that it is a very, very homey, mom and pop feeling type of dealership. That's not it's very, very lax, very, very not corporate. There's corporate aspects to it because there has to be, but I think the biggest thing is not having that. Thank you for coming in today. I am Richard. I'll be the one assisting you in your transactional purchases. Screw that. It's like, what's up, dude? How can I help? What you riding? Come see it, come feel it, come taste, touch, feel. Everything's priced. Sit on whatever you want. Let's talk about you wadding up your YZ 20 years ago. Let's talk about you hitting a deer on your Tiger 900 and blowing it apart. We're a dealership, but we're actually all riders, and that's the thing I think that makes us the biggest difference. Is everybody here has real world experience in every aspect that could possibly come up. That's the biggest difference, I think.
What was the first time you thought, if this fails, I lose everything?
So every year I've done something bigger than the year before, and it's just kind of been all right, so we're gonna move to this giant building, and we're gonna buy a building now. We've moved past, this is 6 years ago. We've moved past leasing. We're no longer in the leasing category. We're gonna buy a building for this dream, and then we're gonna add an OEM, and then we're gonna add a second OEM, and then we're gonna add a third OEM, and we're gonna add a fourth OEM, and then we're gonna buy another dealership, and then we're gonna run that dealership, and then we're gonna acquire another dealership. And I think the thing is it's just kind of there is no fail. We can't, there is no, I've never really thought obviously there's been tight months and things like that. There always is in business, especially a seasonal business. But I never thought this will be the nail in the coffin that, that shuts the doors. We've never had that. And, I hope to God we never have that, but it's just a constant progression forward. being able to be adapted and moving and shifting and changing with the tides and the economy and changing with the geopolitical climate and working around the tariffs. Like there's a lot more that goes into this business that can add some comfortability and peace by knowing how the industry works, and that's something that's really good. So I can't really say that we've had a if this fails moment yet. I mean, we haven't. I mean, we're over a decade now of doing this, and we haven't had that yet. So I hope I never have, but we just keep putting our nose to the grindstone. I think a lot of it has to do with your mentality, which is what keeps us moving forward.
So running multiple stores sounds big, but what's the part that just wears you down the most?
Okay, so we have 25 employees, 3 locations, 3 service departments, 3 parts departments, 3 sales departments, and 380 some units in inventory for just Triumph alone. I'm very hands-on. Like I'm not a working stiff. I don't sit in an ivory tower. You know, I'll be back here doing a top end on a dirt bike or doing a tire, whatever needs done. I'll be on the sales floor selling. Like I'll be receiving parts. Like it doesn't matter. I think the wear down aspect comes from the fatigue of the uncertainty of what's tomorrow's going to bring. So like when I say uncertainty, it's like, okay, we put this fire out, this problem solved. What's the next problem that's going to come up? And you know, there's a stupid Rocky quote where it says, it's not how hard you can hit, it's how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. I think that's what we just continue to do. So, you know, it is a lot. I mean, it is a lot, but I have the best team, you know, period. Like I'll put my dealership team against any team in this country and we'll win. Like we don't play. Like my guys are the best and my gals are the best, from our marketing department to our service side to our parts side. You know, in my space and my box that I play in, you know, we're the best. So I don't have a problem with getting exhausted from it, but it's just a constant, you know, it's a lot of stuff, a lot of bikes. You know, we're going to sell a few hundred motorcycles this year, you know, and I'm just, like you said yesterday in your video, just a kid from Indiana. You know, I'm not anything special. I didn't go to college. I just kept my nose to the grindstone and just kept trying to push forward to prove that, you know, it is possible. You know, it is possible to dominate an industry with a brand, and that's what we've done with Triumph. I mean, we've literally dominated our area, our region. You know, now we have 3 stores in Indiana that are all owned by me. That's Triumph. Like we are Triumph. I mean, that's the motto. So a lot of Triumph.
What's the biggest lie people believe about this industry?
That we're all rich. Like people come in and they see, you know, they see 200 motorcycles and they think I own all these motorcycles. It's like, nah, dude, the bank owns them. Like I'm just here to party. Like, no, we're not rich. I mean, it's so seasonal. Like it's feast and famine. It literally goes from more money than you know what to do with to no money, like in a blink of an eye. So you have to prepare yourself for winter. You have to prepare yourself for fall. You have to budget really, really well. And if you don't, you're screwed. I mean, obviously there's winter work, but it's not the volume. Nobody's buying dirt bikes in January when there's, you know, 6 inches of snow on the ground. So that's the biggest misconception, you know, and everybody comes in, they're like, oh, must be nice. Like, yeah, it must be nice, dude. I work 80 hours a week. I drive, you know, thousands of miles a week. You know, we've put 25,000 miles on our Sprinter van in literally 4 months. Like, it is nice, you know. I mean, we bust our ass, and we all bust our ass to do it. So that's, I think, the biggest misconception, that we're all these dealership owners are just independently wealthy, rich people. And there's some out there. There's some dealers that are independently wealthy. We're not, you know. We're not independently wealthy. We just bust our ass, and the entire team busts their ass, and that's why we're at the point where we're at, because the entire team rose.
Okay, be honest with this one. Have you ever thought about walking away? What stopped you?
I thought when my dad died 4 years ago that I wasn't going to have the fire anymore. My dad died cancer really quick, and he was very integral in the beginnings of the business to the nth degree. I never thought it was a walkaway point, but I didn't know if I was going to have the same passion that I did without my dad being my biggest supporter. You know, very much like, you know, you talking yesterday about, you know, your mom and dad. Like, obviously that's the people we want to make proud. I mean, that's the biggest thing. You know, There's there's 100 generations of there's 100 generations of people to get you to where you're at, and they're all cheering for you, and I believe that wholeheartedly. But it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. Death's a really weird thing, and I was very young and losing my father. Right in the uptick of the career, like uptick of the business, like right when the greatness was starting to happen. And my dad raised me, and it was, I have it tattooed on me. No one's better than you. Like, you can do anything you set your mind to. That was the hardest moment in my life. Still to this day, like, take business out of it, take relationships out of it, take everything out of it. Losing my father was the biggest blow to me. But we got through it. We got through it, and we succeeded. And we're in a better spot than we are now. So to say, have I ever wanted to walk away from it? No. Did I think it was going to be really, really hard to go to work every day because my dad's not here to support me? Yeah, but it does get better. It got really easy, actually. And I still deal with this today. Like, it's still a real thing. Like, not having your biggest fan, but now I have other fans. I have other people who I need to impress. I have other people who, and even impress is not the right word. I have other people I want to make proud, because at the end of the day, your mom and dad are going to be your biggest supporters.
On the worst days, when you're alone, drained, maybe even bitter, what still makes you show up?
The clients, like, they put their faith in us, and they trust us. I mean, we sell happiness, we sell toys. I mean, we sell adult toys. That's what it is. I mean, nobody needs a motorcycle. These are wants. And the last thing you want to do is, have people who put their faith in you, you let them down. Like, there's people we've let down, absolutely. There's people we've made happy. There's people, you're never going to make everybody happy. And it's hard when you try to make people happy and you still can't make them happy. And it's like, what do you want from me? Like, I'm giving you everything, and this is still not enough. Those are the days that are the worst, where it's like, I'm sorry this happened, but this is what I can do, and they don't like that outcome. So those are the hard days. So what keeps you going? What's the last part of the question? Like, what keeps you going through those times?
Yeah, what still makes you show up?
You have to take care of the people, dude. You have to take care of the people. We do have a reputation. We do have a brand. We're here. If you don't like us, that's fine. If you like us, great. I'm happy that you like us and happy you support us. If there's a problem, I'm here. My wife's here. We are 100% like legit mom and pop business. Like, you can come in and talk to me. You can come in and talk to my wife if there's a problem. Or, and the staff that I have speaks with my authority. So there's always this point where, you can get the answers you need. But it's just that grind, dude. It's that Rocky quote, man. It's not how hard you can hit. It's to get hit, keep moving forward, and that's just the motto that we all like really strive for. Because I think if we push through any type of adversity, we can be better than ourselves. And that's the thing. Like, everybody needs to show up every day and do better than the next day. It's not perfection. It's progress. And I think we're constantly changing how we do things to make things better, from systems integrations to part availability to the operation systems to making the dealership run, very, very well. But if I don't like the way the dealership's running, I'm changing it. Like, there's a certain credo. Like, if I'm not happy with it, we're not doing it. Like, and that's very, very based on, what we want to see as a business, which we want, those fast service turnarounds. We want the best pricing on inventory. We want the best deals. We want the best finance rates. We have the best tools. We have the best equipment, because that's what equals the best results. And that's what we care about, is making these awesome results happen.
So let's put the brand aside. What does the word triumph mean to you?
Life. Triumph's everything to me. This brand changed my whole life. The last 5 years have been absolutely crazy. Triumph's life, dude. Triumph's everything. I bleed this brand. I believe wholeheartedly that it is the best brand on the market. I believe wholeheartedly that the staff is the best. I have it tattooed on me in multiple places, like, to remind me, like, you have this Harley mentality where it's like, die hard for the brand, and like, what's this brand done? And, and you look at Triumph, and it's like, you take Harley and you multiply it by 10. Like, the passion that they have at that company, from the very highest high to the lowest low guy on the totem pole at that company, they actually all care. Like, I've had so much interaction the last, few years with them, and everything's great. My reps are great. The GM, the owner, I mean, everybody is so great at that company. And this is not an ass kiss thing. This is like, I've had, thousands of emails, thousands of phone calls, dozens of meetings. And it's always, their mentality is dealer first, and if they take care of the dealer will take care of the client, and that's the mentality. Like they're easy to work on, the way their systems work, the integration of their softwares, their specialty tools, their tech department. Like I can pick up the phone on a Sunday at 9 o'clock at night and call, and I'll get somebody to call me back, like, or they'll answer and they'll say, hey, what's up? I mean, real stupid thing. We're on a race on a Saturday. Service department's closed. I'm calling the service department and saying, hey, dude, I got my racer and there's an issue going on. What do we do? Like, they just care so much about the product. They bleed the brand like we do. And I think everybody there bleeds the brand. I mean, it's everybody. It's like, it's not just one person that's like spearheading it. It's everybody. And I think that's what works really well with our business. Is the way our business operates is this very same way that Triumph operates, which is, take care of the customer, take care of the client, provide the highest quality service, and be there for the consumer. Like, there's never been an issue where it's like, God, these guys are really screwing me. It's never been like that. Like, we have 3 Triumph dealerships now. I mean, and we're gonna have more. Like, we're not stopping at 3. Like, I believe, the entire team here believes that Triumph is the future. Triumph is the most premium luxury lifestyle brand of motorcycles, and they have the best bikes in every segment. We can take a Tiger head to head against a GS. We can take a TF 250 to a Honda 250, like, and it'll beat it. We can take, a sport bike, the Daytona, and put it against any of the sport bikes in their class, and they dominate every class. The 400s competing with the Royal Enfield line, like every single bike that they produce in their class, it's pound for pound champ. And it makes it really easy to sell when you're selling the coolest, best stuff. Just between the tech and the fact that the company's privately owned and it's not a corporate entity that is publicly traded, makes it a lot easier to get in touch with the people who actually make the decisions, and they don't have this giant corporate ladder of bullshit that we have to wade through to get things done. So, that's my shtick on Triumph, dude. Like, it's the business. Like, they know what they're doing, and they're gonna be, within the next 2 years, they're gonna be in the top 2, top 3, top 4 of motorcycle manufacturers, because they just have everything and they do such a good job. That's Triumph to me.
So what was the thought and the willing and the want behind running a race team, an amateur supported race team with Triumph? Why did you choose Triumph?
So there was no other option. We had some other dirt brands in here and they didn't coincide with our values. And I've had brands come and go, and it's if I don't like the way they do business with me, I don't like to do business with them. It's a really basic thing. So Triumph kind of, the Triumph released a dirt bike, and everybody, like, most of these Triumph dealers are more of an urban dealer. They're not, they sell bikes that are not dirt bikes. So Triumph dumped dirt on all of us and was like, okay, we have this product, we have the gear, we have the pipe, we have the grips, we have the stuff, go sell dirt. And, the first 6 months were slow. Like, I'm not from a dirt background at all. Like, I mean, I rode a dirt bike when I was 7 and crashed into a garbage can, That was my extent of dirt, and then I instantly went to street. So, obviously you look at it and you look at the problems, you're like, okay, we're not selling these, what do we need to sell them? Well, you need to get to the track. Once you get to the track, you race on Saturday and Sunday and you sell on Monday. And once that happened, I found you and your girlfriend, Haley, and having somebody that has the actual expertise of dirt is how you sell dirt. But then that's great selling it, but everybody's racing dirt. So it's like, well, you got to race them because that's how people see what they can do. So it kind of just really snowballed really quick, and it turned into, okay, we go to a race, we sell some bikes, we sell some grips, we sold some goggles, to, okay, well, you have your pro card. I don't mind traveling, let's jump into this all the way. And it just kind of snowballed very quickly. The other thing that we have different is, having an actual woman rider here is a huge difference in a lot of dealerships, because there's a lot of women riders that ride moto, and it's like they don't want to talk to a guy about it, they want to talk to a girl about it. They want it, so we have a fast girl too, your old lady, she rides a TF 252. So being able to have a couple, and just so you know, the marketing director also is one that rides moto. So when you see the moto, why it's so sick is because she rides moto. So it's like we have somebody that's actually in the industry, not just a person that likes graphic design, somebody that actually eats, sleeps, and breathes motorcycles, that's pressure washing bikes in the pits, that changes it. So, they've taught me so much, you've taught me so much in the last year, 6 months, about what moto is and what it changes. I love it. I love being the underdog. I love, going to these races and meeting these people and meeting the parents and seeing the kids light up and, having, everyone that comes up, you set their bikes up for them, and they feel honored to have a pro set their bike up. They feel a different aspect, and that's something that, we're going to keep really doubling down on is you come to us to get a dirt bike, you're not talking to some guy that rides once or twice a month. You're talking to a guy and a girl that rides every weekend, every week, riding multiple times. And that's what really grew the dirt stuff. I mean, we won the dirt competition with Triumph, and we beat out all the A markets in a B market. That's like the biggest, proudest moment that I've had this year with Triumph was like, we came out of nowhere and just started selling dirt, and like we have the magic sauce. Like, and I'm not going to tell you the magic sauce because it's my magic sauce, but like, you got to ride, like you got to be out there, you got to put it out there, you got to show people what these products can do. And if you don't do it and you don't have the knowledge, like I'll grab you out of working on the back on a bike to be like, hey dude, this guy's asking about X, Y, and Z, fill them in. And that's what really spearheaded and made it grow exponentially, having boots on the ground that knows everything about this lifestyle, because it's not just the bike. It's the tires, it's the oil, it's the coolant, it's what this suspension needs, it's what whole shot's a piece of shit and what whole shot's a good device. Like, it's what exhaust is good, what exhaust is bad. That is what grows that aspect of dirt and moto. And, now with the race team, this is the first time in like 5, 6, 7 years that I'm excited to like really, really do something different, because it's so uncomfortable to me. And it's so cool to see kids that come in on this clapped out insert Japanese motorcycle and leave on a Triumph, and like their lap times go up, they're faster, they're winning races just because the bike's different. And that, I think, is the coolest thing. We have a number of kids that are racing under us now that are doing better because they're on a Triumph, and that's the coolest part. But is it just that they're on the Triumph, or is it that they have a dealer that actually knows what's going on? It's 50-50. The bike makes a huge difference, but having 2 riders here that ride, 4 or 5 times a week, that's what changes it for the dirt stuff. And as far as the pro stuff, that's the coolest stuff I've done. I've done drag racing, I've done street racing. I've never done GP racing. It's not my thing. And if it is your thing, I'm not dogging you, it's just not my thing. The moto stuff's cool. Like, the moto stuff's sick. Just the people, the personalities, the way it's done, and using the connections that we've made over the last decade to, excel the dirt team into what it is now. That's what's so much fun to me.
So when your name gets brought up 10 years from now, what do you want them to say, and what do you hope they never forget?
That no matter what happened, I never stopped trying. We try every day. If you may be smarter than me, you may be faster than me, you may be better than me, you may come from money unlike me, you may have all this stuff, but I never stopped. I'll never stop. Like, this is what I'm bred for. This is what I was built for. My father gave me a work ethic. My grandfather gave me a work ethic that no matter what, you'll never outwork me. You won't outwork me. And I'm a lot of things. I'm a lot of things. People love me. People hate me. I don't care. If you have a problem, let's talk about it. I have no problem sitting down with anybody, good, bad, or indifferent, having a conversation. But I'm here to win. I'm not here to lose. And, we run by a burn the ship mentality. We don't have a lose. We don't have a retreat. We don't have it. We move forward. That's what we do. And that's how we've been with this business. We tuck our chin, we march forward no matter what it is. There's a lot of fighting references, man. I watch fighting. I like UFC. I like moto. I like real sports. I'm really, that's a stab at, baseball, golf, softball, whatever. I golf, but it's not the not the mentality of, fighting or moto. Like, moto's tough, dude. Moto's the hardest sport in the world, and anybody who says different is an absolute idiot. You can go bounce a ball, you can hit a golf ball, you can do this. Nothing's like moto. And same with fighting. It's real, it's raw. I mean, people die in both those sports. I mean, when was the last time somebody died on the basketball court? People die in moto all the time. People die in fighting all the time, and it's that mentality that we don't quit, we don't surrender, we don't give up, we move forward. No matter what odds there are, my team and me are going to push through those odds, and we'll come out triumphant on top. Plug to triumph. Just be real. Like, that's the thing. Like, that dude's a lot of things, but he ain't a quitter, and he's here to show out and win. And that's what we're here to do. We're here to show out and win no matter what the odds are.
You got any closing remarks, any final statements?
Anybody can do anything if they set their mind to it. I'm at this point by a lot of hard work, a lot of blood, a lot of sweat, a lot of tears, a lot of injuries. Anybody can chase their dream. I feel like I'm the luckiest man alive. Like, I have the best team behind me. I have the best products supporting me. I have the best brands around me, and I'm here to win. I'm just there's a UFC fighter that said, I'm just a kid here looking for a fight. And we're at war. I mean, that's not a thing. Like, we're at war in the market. We have dealers that sell competing product. We're at war with them. I mean, we have a cordial relationship, but they're either going to buy a Honda or a Cowie or a Yamaha, or they're going to buy a Triumph. I mean, we're at war with them. They're going to buy a Sportster, or they're going to buy a Scout. They're going to buy a Bagger, or they're going to buy a Bagger from us. They're going to buy a GS and drive 2 hours, or they're going to come and buy a Tiger from me. We're at war, and it's not a bad thing. Competition drives business and drives perfection. And, don't be afraid of the fight in any part of your life. So many people just want to be cowardice and hide and take the easy way out. Like, I look for the hard route, and that's how I operate. And, but chase your dreams. This is just a dream that turned into a reality, that turned into an empire, and it is an empire. We have the largest Triumph dealer network and inventory in the entire country. Like, we are Triumph, and that's, I think, the biggest thing now is find what you love and chase it. No different than Nick wanting to race motocross. He found his love, he's chasing it. I love selling motorcycles. I love supporting people. I love taking care of this industry, because this industry's given me everything, so the least I can do is give everything back to it. I don't like the smoke and mirrors and the Shazam and the show, and to me it's just about taking care of people. And if you take care of people, they'll take care of you. And I think that's the most important thing, is just take care of people. Be a good person. And like I said, you're not going to make everybody happy, but you can make a lot of people happy, and I think we do a good job of that. Buy Triumph. That's the most important thing. They're the best. And if you have questions, don't be afraid. That's the other thing too, is like, everybody's here wants to talk. They want to tell you what's going on. They want to fill you in on the stories. They want to tell you about why our products are superior to everybody else. So I think that's the end of my soapbox and my raw, edited, gritty interview. And the cool thing about this thing is this is going to be something that's going to go on for every employee here. Like, we want you to know who you're dealing with. We want you to know who's working on your bike. We want you to know who you're seeing at the racetrack. I'm going to interview my wife, which is going to be the most exciting thing. But everybody at this dealership is going to get interviewed at all the stores. This way, this raw, gritty, unedited, no bullshit, straight up Docu-Series that we're going to do. Because we're not like anybody else. We're not like any other dealership. We're not like any other independent. We are the benchmark. We set the bar so high. And I want you to know why that is, and it's because of the people. The only reason I'm sitting in this position that I'm in right now talking to you is because I have the best team behind me. They say there's no I in team, and that's a fact, dude. There is a me, but not an I. And my team is why we're here. So that's all I got for you, big dog.
Right on. This was narrated by yours truly,
Nick Hunter be hunted. Thank you for watching. Appreciate your time.